I've got events to go to tomorrow, and my outfit, it's not done. I'm Maddie with Maddie Sews, and thanks for hanging with me today. Today's another Friday Sews created by Jen over at Today in Jen's Sewing Room. If you don't know her, you can catch her down in the description box below. But today's the day where I get to tell you a little bit about what I've been working on, which has honestly been my Frocktails outfit, what I have coming up, and talk a little bit about life. Today we're mostly going to be focusing on this Frocktails look because you all, I am not ready. I'm just not ready. Okay, so if you've been following me for, I don't know, the last couple of weeks, and even if you haven't, it's okay. I have been working on a pair of pants and a sparkly top number. And my original idea was to do this look right here. I wouldn't belt this jacket. I would have just left it open with a little sparkly, like bustier looking thing. And I was super pumped to make it. You all, I even bought all the fabric. I mean, I bought 5, maybe 6 yards of this wonderful pink stuff. And then when I actually got to cutting out my pattern, it was like 14, 15 pieces. It was a ton of pieces. And I only gave myself like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks total to get my look together. And I just knew that yeah, I knew it was gonna be a problem. So that's when I decided to revise my plan. I revised it so that I wasn't making the jacket because, well, we just don't have time for that. So I'm making the pants because I need to be there dressed. I need to be dressed. I need to be wearing something, right? And then I decided to make a top. Now, I did go and look at a bunch of different patterns. Some of them required boning. Those were immediately no. I don't have time for boning. I'm just not going to do that. I don't have time to fit and then put in some boning. So I decided to go with this pattern right here, and actually this view, which is McCall 7540 for the top. It's a really simple crop top with a zipper down the back, and it has princess seams. So I just thought, fully lined, I'm going to do that. It'll be easier to knock out than almost anything else. I mean, I could make like a boxy crop top, but that's not the look I'm going for. You don't want to be like sexy. You all don't mind me. I had a glass of wine. Yeah, I did. Here's the progress that I've made on the top. And you can see here that here's the lining part. I actually decided to lengthen it about 2 inches. And so that's why it has that little band down at the bottom there. And then this is the wrong side of my sequins. And actually, let me show you what the right side looks like. It's so good, you all. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous with the pink? So I am at the point right now where I am understitching the seams down to the lining. And I can't even tell where I've done it. Hang on, let me...
Where did I do it? Did I do it? Wait, did I? I did this side.
So this is all done. Whoop, all of that armhole. And I have to finish understitching all, like the neckline and the other arm side. And then I can flip it right sides out and start to attach the actual little shoulders right there, right? And I can do the shoulder seams, insert my zipper, and I'm feeling really good about this. I actually did quite a bit of fitting adjustments to that pattern. Actually, let me go grab one of the pieces so I can just give you a sneak peek. See, those are the pattern changes that I made. I brought the arm side up. I did a little kind of maneuvering around this using the seam allowances. I'll walk you through that. And I actually did a tissue fitting just so that I can get the sizing right on this one. And that's why I started with the lining, because I felt like once I got the lining good with this pattern, I could just go ahead and cut all the pieces out in the sequins and we'd be okay. And I think it's going to be good, you all. Now, although I did show you my pants, which I'm actually really excited about, here's the pants. I think they look really good. You know, I feel like pants are really kind of tricky in that you can never get the first one like dead on perfect. So I got a little brave, I made my pattern adjustments, and I just went for it. So let me tell you a little bit about how I actually decided on the size for this, like what my process was behind it, and why it got me close to a good fitting pair of pants, right? So when I'm looking at this pair right here, what I see personally is a drop crotch. Her crotch does look lower than regular, which is good for me because I have a lot of badunkadunk. So that drop crotch means that there's going to be more space for it and less fitting issues. So perfect there. And then there's these pleats right here. And those pleats look like they're pretty deep. And in fact, they really are. I mean, I was actually surprised at just how deep these pleats are. When I measured this pattern out across the widest part of the hips, it measured out at 72 inches for the size 20. And just to give you an idea, the hip size, like their suggested sizing here, which is, I feel like this stuff is always kind of bogus. Let me see if I can get that in focus for you. So the size 20 here says that 44-inch hips should be making the size 20, but you all, there was 72 inches of like, I mean, the total circumference was 72 inches. And even when you backed out the seam allowances, I mean, that's quite a bit. Now, I have made the mistake of sizing down too much, and you end up taking away some of the lovely pleating that actually happens, right? Because if I had 68-inch hips, for example, these pleats might start right up here at my waist, but then they're going to disappear at the hips because my hips are just going to take up all that space. So that's something that I wanted to keep in mind. So with my hips being 52 inches, I felt like 20 inches was going to be enough to give me some pretty nice pleats here. And quite honestly, I thought that I was going to have to remove some of the additional width. No, not at all. Actually, it made me a little nervous when I started sewing up because I was like, oh man, I might have to make smaller seam allowances. And then for my waist, now my waist falls between the size 20 and 22. Right now, it's at a 35 inches. And so the 34 is 34 inches and the 22 calls for 37 inches. Well, I decided to size down just because the big four patterns tend to have a whole lot of ease in it. And this pattern didn't have as much ease as I thought it was going to have in the waist. But that's okay. That's okay. Now, I will say that because I was nervous about taking away too much of the extra ease, I did take about a 1/4 inch out of each of those pleats. So that gave me an extra 1/2 inch to kind of work with at the waist going down into the hips, which I'm happy I did that. The thing that I forgot to do was to take into account the actual waistband here. Now, when I unzip this, you can see that the waistband finishes right there at the edge on both sides, and it was a little tight because I forgot to add the additional length to the waistband here. And so when I made those darts a little smaller, that meant that the waistline at the top here was a little longer, and that waistband was just like, it made me a little nervous, if I'm honest. I just took a smaller seam allowance. I think I ended up having enough to take like a 3/8 seam allowance right here on the edge, and it worked out. And I'm happy it did. Because honestly, I didn't have that much more time to put into these pants because I still needed to do the top. On the back, there is a pocket. Now, I really like the look of this pocket, and let me show you on the drawing here. You see that pocket? I think it's really good. And for me, I like to have a pocket break up some of that expanse. And so I did decide to put the pocket on, but according to the directions, it was supposed to be a welt pocket, like a fully functional welt pocket. You all, for time's sake and to eliminate some of the bulk on the glorious backpack over there, I decided that it was just going to have to be a faux pocket. So I went ahead and I made the pocket flap, but there is no pocket underneath. Woo, woo, woo. I might just put a button there to keep it shut so, it doesn't give me away. I do need to add a buttonhole here and a little button on this side, and then add a little bar and hook on this side, and then hem them. And these things will be done. So I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow morning because I've got tricky sequins to work with. I just do. It's gonna come together. I'm almost there, you all. I'm almost there. It's coming together. But say a little prayer for me, please. Coming up, I'm actually really excited to share with you the method that I used, which is like a tissue fitting and some general adjustments, like to the arm side and the bust a little bit to get a top. So I can't wait to finish this, to post the pictures, and to share that adjustment with all of you. Now let's talk about my next project. I don't know what it's gonna be. I really think that I want to start looking at my summer wardrobe and make maybe something that could go from both the office to like a nice festival. So I'm gonna have to dig through my patterns and see what I can dig up there. But I've got some like really nice linen here that I've been dying to use. So maybe that's what I'll do next. Yeah, we're gonna do a plans video on that one. Now let's talk life, you all. So this past week has been it's been such a crazy, embarrassing one. It's been kind of nuts. So I go to the office now 2 days a week. So they allow me to telework from home 3 days. I have to be in the office on 2 days. You all, I wore this jumpsuit that I've been actually wearing a lot because I don't have much that's appropriate for the workplace. I got in the elevator and was going up to the 15th floor to where my little QB office is, and the head honcho got in the elevator with me. And I was just like, "Hey, how are you?" You all, it was the most awkward conversation that I've ever had. I mean, this guy was like,
Hey, hi. How are you?
I was just like, this dude is weird. And then I got to my desk and, started taking off, my tote bag and all my stuff. And I looked down and the button that's like right there, you know that button? It was undone and totally gaping open. That dude had like clear sight to my really cute bra, thankfully. But I was just like, oh man, how embarrassing. Like, poor guy, because like, I think it was probably more embarrassing for him than me. I mean, like, I live with my boobs. I'm okay with these things. They're pretty wonderful if you ask me. But like this guy, he had no idea where to look. And that actually got me thinking that Jen had posted a prompt for the Friday Sews this week because it's Friday the 13th. And it was, what wardrobe malfunctions have you had? I was like, oh, just this week I had a button malfunction, right? And as if that wasn't enough, let me tell you all. Later that day, I was, trying to run out of the office. So, I went and washed all my dishes in the kitchen, came back, and then I noticed that my top button was missing. The whole thing was just missing. It was not a button day. It just really was not. I ended up finding it under my desk, and thankfully, that was a day I just happened to bring one of those little tiny mini sewing kits to work. I had no idea I was going to have to use it the very same day I brought it. I mean, like, that was like, an angel was like, take that sewing kit with you. You're going to need it. And I did. I really did. So I sat there sewing my little button on in my cubicle. I really need to go so I can get this outfit together so I can show you all of the amazing stuff I have going on. Hopefully it's going to be amazing. If you've been eating good like I have been, but you're somehow feeling down about yourself, check out this video over here for a little confidence boost. And you all, until next time, I sincerely hope that you find joy and have a wonderful day.